Imagine this. Since Brexit, immigration to the UK soared to record levels never seen before. Yet just 2 years later, the very government that once welcomed migrants with open arms is slamming the door shut. So what on earth is happening? Why is the UK's Labour government, led by Keir Starmer, traditionally pro-immigration, now championing the toughest immigration clampdown in 50 years? The answer is far from simple, and it reveals a tangled web of economics, crime concerns, and political survival. Here's the story. Back in 2016, many Britons voted for Brexit, believing leaving the EU would give them control over their borders and slow immigration, especially from outside Europe. But instead, net migration exploded, driven largely by highly diverse and often less qualified newcomers from non-EU countries. Far from easing, the pressure on Britain's social services and public purse skyrocketed. According to government data, low-skilled immigrants cost the Treasury hundreds of thousands of pounds each over their lifetime, around £150,000 on average per person, in expenses exceeding their tax contributions. Over decades, that cost can balloon up to £1 million. This undeniable economic strain has forced Starmer's government to rethink everything. The new policy raises the bar dramatically. Immigrants will need up to 10 years, double the previous 5, to gain permanent residency unless they are highly skilled professionals like doctors or global talent visa holders who can qualify in as little as 3 years. Plus, benefits and social housing will be off-limits to new arrivals until they become full citizens. But it's not just economics. Crime is another shadow looming over the debate. While official data on crimes committed by immigrants is hard to get, almost deliberately so, independent investigations reveal worrying patterns. Foreign nationals have nearly double the arrest rate compared to British citizens and represent a disproportionate share of convictions for serious crimes, including sexual offenses. Minority groups, particularly Black and Muslim populations, are overrepresented in prisons relative to their population size, suggesting deep-rooted issues of integration and social tension. Now, here's where politics become the game changer. With immigration dominating public concern, far-right parties like Reform UK, led by Nigel Farage, have surged in the polls, threatening to upend the British political landscape. Starmer's Labour Party, once riding high on progressive policies, has plummeted in support. His abandonment of open immigration is a strategic move to claw back voters fearful of unchecked migration and to curb the rise of populist rivals. But what does this mean for the everyday person? For workers and families, it could mean less pressure on schools, hospitals, and housing, potentially improving public services. For businesses, especially those relying on low-skilled labor, it might trigger labor shortages and wage inflation. And for immigrants themselves, the message is clear. To stay, you must integrate, prove your value, and wait longer for any security. The UK is saying loud and clear, this isn't a right, it's a privilege earned. So, the British experiment in immigration policy has turned a significant corner. Whether this hardline shift by a traditionally left-wing government will solve the tangled challenges of economics, crime, and political backlash remains to be seen. Will this recalibration restore public trust and social cohesion? Or will it risk alienating communities and deepening divides? One thing's certain, the UK's immigration story is no longer just a debate about borders. It's a barometer of how societies balance openness, fairness, and belonging in a changing world. And watching how Brits navigate this crossroads could teach us all a lesson about migration, politics, and the economics of inclusion.